Welcome back, everyone. This week I'm going to be talking about a vision that I had that includes you all. So if you're interested, keep on watching. This week for me is a big celebration week because it marks the year from when this podcast was created. And it is episode number 53, which for me, because of the timing of this, I feel like I had to do a little bit of reflecting on what it means for me, what it looks like going forward, and in saying that, I updated the intro just a little bit on the podcast and the artwork to match the branding of the new website that just launched this week too. And it's funny because none of that was planned. Like, I didn't have this date in mind of when, I was going to bring that forth. But the way that it all lined up makes me feel like it's a reflection on the journey that I've taken in this last year and in the first season of my leap of faith. And I just want to give so much thanks to my guides and my higher self and you guys for being with me on this journey. And I mean, the immensity of it all and what happened in this year, I could never have dreamed of. And yet, in the act of surrender and leaping every day, it has brought me closer to knowing myself than I ever have. And even accepting myself for exactly who I am, which is, my whole life wasn't the case. And I mean, you guys know I still have my things that I am working with and my fears and all of those things. They're not there. I just know that when they present themselves, I'm supposed to go into them, push into them, and discover what is on the other side. And in that, it's like this opening of something that is much bigger than myself. And my hope in this whole journey and this whole year has been that if I could do this, you guys can do this. And it's being vulnerable in every part of it, right? Like, I didn't know when I started the podcast really what I was doing, first of all, but even where it was going to lead me. And as you guys know, it wasn't even my idea. So I feel like the uncertainty of it all and the just letting the energy flow as it was supposed to was exactly what was meant to happen. And I actually was having a conversation with Richard yesterday, and I said, when this idea came forward and you had this idea, you didn't know that a year from then that I would be here. And I don't think the point is to know where the destination is. It's the journey of the whole thing. And when I look back and reflect on this last year, my heart has just expanded so much. And I'm getting emotional because when I say that, I feel it inside because my emotions and my love for myself has grown. And to the point where I don't care how crazy this may sound to some other people. I know that it's feeding my higher soul, and it's like the more nectar or love that I give to my higher soul, the more gifts and the more open that I become. And I know that's true, and I know that it's only a gift that's given to you as you surrender to that leap of faith in yourself. And for me, this celebration is about knowing that there are many people on this path, and knowing that we have each other, and that everything is exactly the way it is supposed to be. When one person lights their light, it allows others to see the path and go down that path for themselves. And that has been this whole point for me, is that yes, I'm terrified, but I am also hopeful that I'm not alone. And I know I'm not, so I don't know why I just got so emotional. But it's that knowing that by putting it out there every week, one other person can feel less alone in this process. And they say it's an awakening because you really do have to go through really deep despair and darkness to get to that place in yourself where you surrender to what could be. And it's like the hardest thing in the world, right? It's not like it's a joy. It literally changes your whole concept of why we're here and your life, and it can change the relationships with the people that you love. And it's choosing yourself every day and not choosing what the societal norms are, and that's scary. And yeah, my hope in this whole thing has just been that you guys know that I'm doing it right along with you, and it's a beautiful process. It can be messy, it can be like so overwhelming, so exciting, and then like the next day you just can't get out of bed. So it's all of it, and it's all part of it, and in like almost like becoming in rhythm with all of it, meaning like not judging yourself for needing a break some days, and for not feeling like last week I did the video and I was editing it, and then I realized that for some reason there was a glitch in the phone where the audio didn't match the video. So if I would have put it up, you guys would have been seeing me, but the sound wouldn't have matched with my mouth. So that's why I just decided, okay, I'm surrendering. I have agreed with Spirit that I am going to put myself out there in every way, as much as I'm asked to. But in this case where it was beyond my control, again, we are in the Mercury retrograde shadow. So I'm saying that that's what happened, because there is no other explanation. But I surrendered to it, and I just was like, okay, I can't push. This isn't a push. It never has been a push. And this whole year has been definitely a curiosity. So I'm not going to say I'm not like every day, like what's the next thing that's going to unfold. But at the same time, it's the surrender and the not pushing to make it happen, because that would be the mind trying to force something that's not ready. It's not ripened yet. It's not ready to be expressed. And this whole year has been a practice of following the breadcrumbs, following the intuition to bring me to this exact moment. And in saying that, I had to get past my biggest fears of being seen. And again, I don't know where they come from. I'm assuming it's a past life, because nothing has happened in this life that would drive me to be so terrified of being seen. But yet there it is. And I knew that the next step was a website and a place to kind of welcome you guys into my life, and to also offer the sessions that I can bring to you, and create a community. And all of that meant that I had to go into my deepest, darkest, stickiest apprehension and just absolute no to that, And of course, it was a process, and it didn't happen in one day. But what I realized in it is that it was the steps. So my best friend offered to build the website for me probably 9 months ago. And I was like, nope, not ready. No, thanks for offering, but no. And then I didn't bring it up, and we didn't talk about it for a long time. And then I told you guys when I started the Bach flowers, within a week of starting that the custom blend that Lorena created for me, and I'm going to link her below because, again, amazing. There was a shift within a week. There was a shift of like not being so terrified to the point where you just have to shut the door because you can't even look at that fear because it just is overwhelming. What happened is like this energetic shift in me that was like, yeah, I'm still afraid. I mean, nothing has changed. I'm still afraid, but I think I can look at it. I can just explore it. So then that started me down the path of looking for a photographer. And it all was like literally step by step by step that brought me to the right person that then connected me to the right thing. And all of it is to say that it didn't look like this huge bubble of blackness of I can't even look at you. It was like, okay, it's inviting me in step by step. And if I just follow these signs and these like intuitions, I felt all of a sudden like the path was opening up and everything was aligning to make it happen. And I believe it's like that, taking that first step into the fear, that you realize it's not as dark and as scary as it appears from the outside. Almost like going into a scary looking forest or in the nighttime where you can't see anything. But it's almost like, in darkness, when you take that first step, your vision adjusts and you're able to see clearer than you did when you're completely outside of the darkness. And that's how I felt. And it was like all these things just aligned at the right time. And even that it was ready to bring forward in this week of it being the 1-year anniversary of this podcast, to me is a sign. It's a sign, and it's a beautiful celebration of the love that I have for you guys and the love that I have for myself. Because in that, it's like, first of all, my friend did the most beautiful job. It's such a beautiful website, and it expresses my heart, and that was another one of the fears that I had, is how do you take someone's essence and put it onto, a two-dimensional reality? And why is that so important to me? Probably because I share my heart and soul with you guys, and I don't... Sorry, I didn't realize I was going to cry so much in this one. I don't want to appear what I'm not, and I don't want to be somebody that, I don't know. I mean, of course, this is all coming from looking at other people's websites, but I wanted it to be me. And how do you bottle you into a flat surface, But because it was my best friend, she obviously knows me and knows what my soul is trying to convey. And when I look at this website now, that's what I feel. I feel love, and that's what ultimately is the best thing that I ever could have hoped for. So yes, I want you guys to check out the website. Obviously, it's GabrielleGenter.com. I will link it below. And you'll find on there all the things that I offer, there's different tabs, and I would love for you guys to explore, because each page for me feels like a gift from my best friend of her interpretation of me. And yes, we had to go through and come up with the content together, but she helped me so much along the way, because for me, I've found that it's so hard to speak about my gifts. And I remember this even in the corporate world. Of my boss one time said, "Oh, you should have an elevator pitch. You should always have an elevator pitch." And I remember feeling like, no, I cannot toot my own horn in that way. I even had to have someone help me create a resume, because yes, I know the things that I had accomplished in my career, but for me to even write it down, I couldn't. It's almost, to me, felt like bragging about something that it just was, So yeah, the idea of writing down the things that I have learned over this past year and a half in a website felt so terrifying and overwhelming. And the way that it unfolded is she handled it like an interview. We talked through things, and in that she picked out the key things that were important to include on the website, which again, I can't thank her enough, because I don't think I could have sat down and pulled all of these things out of my head and put them down, because it just feels overwhelming. And where do you even what do you even want to share, And so the point of me saying this is that in everything, God, there can be so much overwhelm, and I know it. And I mean, I think the goal is that we're not here to do it alone, firstly, and there are ways around it. And when you take that first step, let's say in finding someone to help you on whatever it is that you're working on, it's the energy that you're putting forth to say, okay, I'm ready to even explore it. It doesn't mean that it's meant to come to life, but even having the idea of putting forth that energy, it's like all of a sudden this rush of love came back to me in so many ways to make it happen. And anyway, so that's all I have to say about that, but it's gorgeous, and I hope that you guys love it. And then in that, we picked brand colors, and so I updated the artwork for the podcast just slightly, and actually like it more because it feels more warm and loving for some reason to me. So I hope you guys like that. And then in this week, I got a download that I meant to share. So that's what this vision is about. Over this past year, I have had this desire to have a community. And in saying that, I mean, I attended different moon circles. A lot of people do community things for the new moon or the full moon. And so I have attended, via Zoom, maybe three different groups. And one of them wasn't local, and I did that one, I think, 2 or 3 times. And then I was like, you know what? Maybe what I need is to find someone that is into this locally, that then, right now it's through Zoom, but then eventually when things open back up, it'll be a community of local people, because I felt like my heart was longing for this, I don't know, physical, tangible presence of community. And so I also attended a couple of moon circles from 2 people that are local. And it's so funny because here I was and the people themselves are amazing. So it's not the people that are running the moon circle, but my feeling for the community, and as I felt into the Zoom presence of everybody on that call, I felt dead. I felt like it wasn't alive. It felt like everyone was there. Some people showing themselves, some people hiding their images, and just listening to the person doing the moon circle. And what I realized, and this download came because I don't know why I was pondering this all of a sudden, and the download was, that's what you're meant to create. It's not that you're meant to create a moon circle. It's that people are longing for connection. And by that, it felt like deep resonance vibration connection, not the kind, and I understand that when someone is offering something, there is something to be taught. But there is something that doesn't exist that I think we all, and I say we all because if I'm longing for it, I don't believe I'm alone in this, a like vibration of people that can share and can be and can grow together, and then I was like, well, what is that? I feel it. And because I get, these downloads, and then I feel it in my body, and it felt like electric. It felt like there can be such a deep resonance connection, and it doesn't have to be in person. And then it brought forth this feeling that I have a friend that I met through my shaman course, and she lives on the other side of the country, and we haven't met face to face, but the first time I worked in her energy, it was like I knew her soul. And it's that connection that maybe in person we wouldn't resonate to each other because we're in different parts of our lives and we're in different situations. But my soul knows her soul, and I knew it the second that I got into her energy. And it's that feeling of, I want to call it like a sisterhood and a brotherhood, but it's so much, it's like a soul connection of why we're here, right? And I know that when I see the grid, or when I work with the grid, it's about connecting a new vibration of energy ley lines, and that is part of it, and you guys are part of that. But I think our human bodies and our human minds also need to know we're not alone. So the download was that I'm supposed to create a tribe for everybody to share and be a part of. And that even if I'm a facilitator, it would be me just saying, maybe if we do it once a month, and me saying this is the topic, and putting it out to the group and saying, who wants to share in this circle? And that we all witness and hold space for whoever is ready to talk about their experience in whatever that month's topic is. And my prayer, my hope is that this is not a paid service, that this is something that is free, because again, I don't believe that I'm going to be facilitating in the sense of speaking and planning and bringing forth something. Yes, I will be like, picking the topic, and I think it will be a collective agreement on what the topic is. But I think it's supposed to be where we all have a place to go and talk and ultimately connect and create friendships. And it doesn't have to be somebody that we think like, oh, is this person in alignment with where I'm at in my life? No, it's supposed to be a soul connection and something way deeper than us attending with, and in those circles, I'm sure that the people in that Zoom room are of like vibration, but they couldn't let their souls shine, and they didn't let their soul shine. And not to say that the facilitators don't ask questions of people from time to time, but it's not, that purpose isn't, it's not what it's meant for. It's not to create community in the sense of we all are on equal footing and we all are coming to this to create something. It's not coming from one person, it's coming from all of us. And that's the download. And I know that my soul longs for that. And I'm, in saying that, I believe that it's a dream of other people's, and that I am supposed to be the one that brings it forward. And even in that, it's scary as hell, and I don't know how that's gonna look, and I don't know when that's gonna start, but I know I'm supposed to do it, so I'm gonna do it. On the website, I created a tab called Tribe, and there is where you can sign up to be a part of this circle of people that are of the same vibration. And again, what comes out of it, we will all be able to decide that together. But I believe that the longing for knowing we're not alone is the point. So with that, I'm excited to see how that unfolds and bring it to life, and have patience with me that I am going to be working through it with my guides and figuring out how that comes to life. But again, my goal is for it to be a free community. It's not going to be you guys paying me for this experience. It's going to be us energetically connecting with each other and being each other's support for why we're here. Because I think that why this came through is that need to have that tangible like when I say one-on-one, I mean like where you can speak and someone can talk back to you, even though if it's a group, I feel it's the same thing, is going to be needed as we move forward through this evolution of consciousness. And yeah, it sounds exciting, right? Like it sounds like something that I've been longing for in my own life, so I'm so happy that if they're telling me I'm supposed to start it, I'm going to do it, and know that it's not about me. It's not about this, I don't know. I don't even think it's about my leap of faith. I think it's about just putting like the seed out there and letting it grow from all directions and all energies. So yes, I'm super excited. I hope that you guys are too. And if you are, please go on the website and sign up to be included for when it does come out. And I really appreciate all of you. Also, I did do an interview last week, which came out on Monday. If you haven't heard it, it's the Soul Tribe podcast. And I had just an amazing conversation with Lucia and Lorena, kind of about all things spiritual, but also about my journey. And we kind of got deeper into different topics. And it was the first time for me to do this with someone. And I obviously feel really safe with them. I trust them 100%, and I always recommend them. So obviously it felt like super aligned, and it helped me get through another fear, which is what I said. Like, you go into the fears and then they start coming so much quicker, and you see them and you're like, okay, I got to do it. I'm going to do it. And then you realize that none of them were fears to begin with. It's all like the signs of you evolving. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to evolve. We're not here to be stagnant and comfortable. So I hope you listen to it, because it's amazing and they are amazing. And I will link it below. And again, I'm so happy to have gone through this journey with you guys. And I'm so excited to see what this next season 2 brings for the podcast and now YouTube. And I am happy to have you along with the ride. If you guys are new to me or this channel, I recommend going back to my podcast called My Leap of Faith. The whole first season is about my journey of being stuck in the matrix and having my awakening and going through all the healers and modalities that I learned along the way to get me to where I'm at today, which is an ever-evolving journey. And if you're interested in more of these topics, subscribe below.